You've already been introduced to the Makey Makey machine. This, what you're looking at here, is the Scratch programming language. Maybe some of you have seen this before. If you have and you already have an account, go ahead and sign in. If you don't have an account, let's go ahead and create one right now. So we'll pick a username. If yours is already taken, it won't let you choose it. Oh, let's do a different one. And then make a password. Put in your birth date. I'm going to try to guess at some of yours here. So let me put something in so you'll see on the screen exactly what you'll see here. Put in your parents' email address here because they will get a confirmation email. If you want to share your programs with other people in the community, your parents would just have to confirm that. To use Scratch, you'll still be able to use the entire thing. Just the sharing feature, you need parental permission to do that. Then we'll hit next, and then we'll hit OK, let's go. And right now we're logged in. Don't forget your username and password because you're going to need that to log in tomorrow or the next day to use the program that you're going to make. Once you're logged in, go ahead and hit create. So when you click on create, then you'll see this page and you'll see this cat here. It's called a sprite, and we're going to program that sprite coming up. We're also going to add some backdrops. Right now you can see the backdrop is all white. So we're going to actually put our answers in the backdrop, and we're going to have the sprite ask the questions. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the backdrop once by clicking on it, and I'm going to choose a backdrop. Now you can create your own or download from the internet. I'm going to just create or just get one from the library here. And I'm going to do the blue sky one and hit OK. All right, so right now it looks like this. I want to start by putting my answers to my first question in the backdrop. Now this will make more sense as we go a little bit further with this, but right now you can see my backdrop is clicked on. So I'm going to go over here and click on the text one. I'm going to put my answers right down here. I'm going to say A is 25, B is 20, C is 52, and D is 80. Okay, so now my backdrop looks like that. Now you're going to make yours hopefully look a little nicer than this by centering it and things like that. But right now that's what mine looks like. Now I'm going to go back and click on the sprite. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is with the sprite clicked on, if you click on scripts. Once you're clicked on the sprite, then let's start programming the sprite. So the first thing we want to do is you'll notice all of these different blocks that we can put in. We're going to start with events, and we're going to grab the green flag and put it up there. So when we click the green flag, our entire program is going to start. Now we're going to make something called functions. Now Scratch doesn't call them functions, they call them blocks. Click on more blocks, and that's where we're going to put our questions. So click on make a block, and let's name this one question number 1, and then hit OK. And you'll notice it made a block, and if you move it, it'll go right over here. And it gave us another little question number 1. You're going to grab that one. You're going to click it right into place so yours looks just like this right now. Okay, perfect. So right now what it's going to happen is when we click on the green flag, it'll go down. It will say, oh, I'm supposed to be doing question 1. It'll jump over here. There's nothing here yet. Let's add some stuff there. So go to looks, and let's start by switching the background to make sure we have the correct background. So switch backdrop to, and make sure blue sky is the one that we're using. The next thing, we want our sprite to say something and hold it for 2 seconds. So I'm just going to dump that in there. You'll change that from hello. Next, then I want it to ask the question, and I want that to stay there. So I'm going to grab another say, but not the one for 2 seconds. So I'm going to dump that in there. I'm going to change that to our question. My question is going to be, what is 12 plus 8? Your question obviously will be something different. So right now, when I click the green flag, it's going to jump to question 1, It'll make sure the backdrop is the blue sky. It'll say hello for 2 seconds, and then it will ask the question. Let's see if it does that. Perfect. And then it just ends. There's nothing else for it to do. All right. As soon as it asks the question, then we want it to wait until a key is pressed or until somebody touches our answer pad. So I'm going to go to Controls, and I'm going to grab the wait until and put that in there. And wait until what? Go back to Sensing and grab Key space pressed, but change the space to any key at all. All right, so now it's just the program's just going to sit there and wait for someone to give it an answer. Now remember, we are using our makey here, and the up is going to be A, the right is going to be B, the down is going to be C, and the left is going to be D. So we're going to wait for them to either hit up, right, down, or left. Now in this case, the correct answer, it looks like, is B, which would be to the right. So if they hit to the right, then we will say you're correct. If they hit anything else, we'll say you're incorrect. So let's put that in there. That's an if, then, else. So go back to Controls and grab the if, then, else. And if the key they pressed was the right arrow key, we want to say correct. So go back to Sensing and grab if key pressed. But remember, the correct answer is the right arrow key, because the right arrow key is going to be, they're going to think it's B. Then we want it to say that they are correct. So we'll grab a say, and we'll say you're correct for 2 seconds before we move on. Otherwise, if they get it wrong, it's going to say you're wrong. So if they hit anything else, it's going to say you are wrong. All right, let's go ahead and do that once and see how that works. So it starts out, it says, hello, what is 12 plus 8? It's waiting for me to say the right thing. I'm going to touch B. I got it correct. Let me do it again. This time I will say A, and I am wrong. Perfect, it's keeping track. Okay, well, let's make one other question here, and you'll see it's almost the exact same. Now for my next question, though, I need to make a new backdrop. So I'm going to choose another one here. And this time I'll do the brick wall one. And hit OK. I need to put in some of my answers down here on the brick wall. So I'm going to hit this and say A in this case for me is 8. B is, I don't know, 72. C is 14. And D is 81. Okay. Perfect. So that's my backdrop for that one. Now remember, I want to program the sprite. So I'm going to go back to the sprite, and I should see, if I go back to scripts, I should see what I've done so far. I want to make another question. Remember where that is? That's in blocks. So I'm going to click blocks, and I'm going to make a block, and I'm going to make question number 2. Now hit OK. So I made another block here. I'm going to bring that over here. I also could put it down here. As long as they're not connected, you can put them anywhere. So as you make yours and get to 3, 4, 5 questions, whatever you're going to do. The way this works is when I click the green flag, it says, okay, I got to jump to question 1. It does everything in question 1, and then the program goes back to where it left off. Now ours has just been ending because there's nothing underneath question 1, but if we wanted to then go to question 2, we would just drag this under here. So I'll hit the green flag, it will jump to question 1, it will do everything here, it'll jump back and say, oh, I'm supposed to go to question 2, and that will go right here. Now I'm going to show you a little way to make this really quick. I'm going to go up here to see where it says switch backdrop. I'm going to right click on it on your Chromebook. To right click, you touch with 2 fingers, and I'm going to hit duplicate. And see how it duplicates the entire thing? I'm going to drag that under here. Now there's a couple changes I need to do because I don't want question 2 to be exactly like question 1. The first thing, I don't want to use the blue sky backdrop. I want to change that. And now see how I also have the brick wall? I want to change it to the brick wall. You might want it to say something else here. And then my question is going to be different too. Let me say, instead of what is 12 plus 8, what is, let's say 15 minus 7. Now for 15 minus 7, my answer is going to be 8, which that should be A. And remember, A is the up arrow when I wire my answer pad. So I want to change this to correct, to not be the right arrow, but to be the up arrow. Then I think I'm all set here. Let's see how this works. Ask me my first question. I'll get my first question wrong. I'll say C. That's wrong. And then it goes to my second question. See how it changed the backdrop? What is 15? I'll get this one correct by pushing the up. And I'm correct. Perfect. The last thing I want to do is I want to keep track of how many I get correct and how many I get incorrect. So for me to do that, I'm going to go to data. And I'm going to make a variable. And I'm going to call one of my variables correct. I'm going to click for this sprite only. And what I want to do with that then, when I first start, I want to say I don't have any correct so far. So I'm going to drag that set correct, and I'm going to put it right underneath my flag. See how everything dumped down there? And anytime I get one correct, I want to add 1 to the correct score sheet. See how it's keeping track right here? So it will keep track right here then. Well, I needed to tell it when to add 1, and I only want to add 1 to the correct when I get them correct. So see how right here it says change correct by 1? I'm going to put that inside the if that says you're correct. I'm going to put it right above the correct. So change correct by 1 in my first question, right above where I say they're correct. Right before I say they're correct, I'm going to give them a point. I'm going to do the same thing in my question 2. Change correct by 1 when they get it correct. Now maybe you know what I'm going to do here for incorrect. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to make a variable. I'm going to call this one incorrect for this sprite only. I'm going to hit OK. Now see how I have correct and incorrect now? And I'm going to go ahead and set incorrect to 0. So when I first start the game, it'll start me at 0, 0. And then every time I get one incorrect, I want to change it by 1. So I'm going to put that right above where it says you were wrong. Right above where it says you were wrong over here too. All right, so now let's go ahead and play this one. So I'm going to click on this. You'll notice it says my score is 0, 0. It's asking me the question. I'm going to get this one right this time. I'm correct, and do you see how it changed it to 1? Now it's asking me my second question. I'm going to get this one wrong. See how it changed my score there? And then you would add another question, as many questions as your teacher says that you need for this quiz. Okay, that's how you make the interactive quiz on Scratch. And then remember, when you wire it to the Makey Makey, we are using the up is going to be A, the right is going to be B, down is going to be C, and left is going to be D. But the people that are playing the game will never know that. They'll just be touching A, B, C, but you'll have it wired to the up, the right, the down, and the left.